welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods, and today it's all about windows.
That's right, windows are awesome, you can see out of them. They're usually clear, sometimes they're tinted, and sometimes they're even one way. But the cool thing about them is everybody has them.
Except, well, not everybody has windows. I mean, if you lived in a mud hut, you wouldn't have a window. If you were like a mad hippie with a massive beard living in a tree trying to stop some multi-conglomerate logging company, you wouldn't have a window. Not that you'd need one, but the thing is, when you're using a wind-up window, you can get a sore wrist because you're fapping the window lever all day. So what are we going to do to fix it, Martin?
That's right, today we're going to install a power window kit to make our window winders a thing of the past.
A thing of the past. We're converting your window winder to a button. That's the future, Martin.
It is, we're time traveling.
Today we're working on the blue turd. Although we like to think they put in manual winders to save weight to improve track times, it was more likely just to save money.
So these are the tools you're going to need. You're going to need a bunch of trim removal tools to get your door cards off, and you're going to need sockets to get everything out of the way so you can fit your mad window kit. You're also going to need pliers. You're going to be pulling out a bunch of wires, screwdrivers, the normal deal, a soldering iron and solder so you can wire it all in, and of course you need your power window kit. This comes with motors in it that lifts the windows.
And obviously each kit has 2 motors in it, so if you want to do the rear as well, you're going to need 4.
They're weird looking things, but you can adjust them so you can actually make it work any way you like. They'll fit like that, or they'll fit straight up.
I love it, Martin.
So do
Looks
I.
like a robotic sex aid. Okay, so the way that this works is in the pack, you'll get 2 of these. And the way that this works, this is a high torque motor. And there's 2 cables running down here, and basically what happens is you mount this inside the door, and this here just mounts over your existing window winder pivot point. So what happens is that will go in the door, that connects, and when this circuit here is connected, this will turn, and inside here there's just 2 wires and they're spinning this. Now this can be mounted in all sorts of cool different ways, so it can fit in your door depending on how strange your door is. And the way you make that fit is it comes with a bunch of these little conversion gears. So what you want to do is you want to find which one of these fits onto your factory pivot, and then you put that inside there, that goes in the door, a plug goes over that, a switch gets mounted, and then you have modified your car with electric windows, which means you ain't fapping your wrist anymore, you aren't getting a sore arm, you just press one button, this thing vibrates around and everyone has a good time. So we're going to show you how to do it.
The first thing you need to do is remove the door trim. It's usually just a couple of Phillips head screws holding it in, because the blue turd is a masterpiece of quality and craftsmanship.
Now probably the trickiest bit about getting all of this trim off is removing the actual window winder. Now it's got this little clip here, and that's what actually holds it onto the pivot point so you can wind your window up and down. Now you can get a tool that can pop that out. We don't have one, so we're just going to use either a screwdriver or a rectal examination device, and you've basically just got to put this down in behind it, and you've just got to pull one side of that out, and once that's pulled out, this whole thing will pop off. Rectal. Alright, next up, when you're taking the trim off, a lot of people use screwdrivers, and that's probably, I don't know, it's probably not the most ideal way. When you've got a trim removal tool, the awesome thing about this is that it's not harder than the actual trim that you're removing. When you're using a screwdriver and you're sticking it up in there and ripping everything out, you can leave marks, and it just looks nasty and it looks cheap. Now these things here you can get for a couple of bucks. Sometimes there's even promotional ones that are like free. They just say something on them like bandit.com or something. I don't even know if that's a real website, and please do not go there or quote me on it, because just don't. Anyway, so the idea is now just to put this behind and gently feel for the clips and just slowly pry the whole thing off bit by bit, working your way around slowly. Use the other end for some extra prying ability if need be, and then the whole thing will come off. Also got to get rid of that, and then got to get rid of this guy. There it is. And then don't drop it on the ground like I just did it, after doing it really carefully and then leaving scratches on it. It's Marty's car, whatever.
After you've been to the wreckers to get an unscratched door trim, find a spot in the door you can mount the motor. Test fit the door trim over it to make sure it'll still fit on. The kit comes with a number of adapters that will fit most makes and models of cars. They're placed over the spline that the handle used to attach to so the motor can fit.
So once you've fitted up these little splines and gears onto your original window winder mechanism, and you've found a spot to mount this, you've got to keep it out of the way of the door trim. Luckily our door trim is nice and deep, so there's heaps of room, which is awesome. All that's left to do is attach it and then wire it up. Now to attach it, you get these little metal bracket things, and they attach onto here to keep it still. And there's a lot of torque happening on here, and this will twist around. So it's important that you secure it down. So we put one on there, and the same on this thing, and that holds it all tight onto the door. Then we wire it up, and then we have power windows. No more fapping.
And one of the interesting things, Marty, is that in the instructions it says put the window down, but possibly when you're attaching these and you're drilling through, what could happen, and happened to one poor fellow, drilled all the way through with the window down, and then put the window up, and the screw just all the way down through the tint. So we're leaving the windows up, aren't we, Martin?
Yeah, we're going against the instructions in this case.
The brackets are screwed down onto the motor. It's also a good idea to trace out your chosen mounting position on the door. Use existing mount points on the door if you have any. If you don't, you can use self-tapping screws or drill and screw into the door. Once it's mounted up, you can test that it all works with a 12-volt power source. A booster pack or jumper lead will work.
The moment of truth, Martin.
Yep. Got power windows, that's so mad.
That's awesome. And you just reverse the polarity to make it run the other way?
Yeah, that's all the switch does, man. Check it out. Pretty quick too, considering they're aftermarket. That's not bad.
Okay, so the actual mechanism is on the door and it's tested and working. We put a jumper pack on it, we put power through it, it goes up and down, so that's working. Now there's a couple more things to do. The next, of course, is actually putting this little unit onto the existing door trim, and that's where the switches are going to go. There's going to be two switches on the driver's side, so you can operate the driver's window and the passenger window. On the other side, there's only going to be one. We've also got to run some power from the battery through to the door because there's no power currently running through the door. Now we need to find some power that's switchable power from the accessory position. You don't just want to put this directly under the battery because it means if somebody managed to get something through your window and hit the buttons, they could just be literally instantly in your car. So you don't want power going to them when the key is not in there. So we're going to find switch power. We're going to run some cable through here into the door, power that up, add the switch on. We're going to have mad powered windows, and then we can open and close them all day without getting a sore wrist.
The easiest place to pick up power is under the steering column. You can also run power directly from the battery, but you'll need to install a relay so it's only active when the key is in the on position. Next, run the wires for the motors and switches through the door. You can run them through the rubber grommets or alongside them. Just make sure they can't rub on anything metal.
So the hardest bit is getting the loom through the door. Once you've done that, it's just a matter of plugging it into the door loom to make it all power up. That goes into the bottom of the switches, and this one powers that motor, and that's it.
Pull the wires through and cable tie them up out of the way under the dash.
Next up, you need to cut holes in the trim to fit the power window switches. We're using the switches to hide the existing holes so it looks neat. The kit comes with a template to help position it correctly. Screw on the black switch holder and then test it. Install the switches, mount the door trim back up, and then you can put everything back together.
If you haven't been fapping your windows for a while, you might find that they're a bit stiff, so you can lube up the rubbers to help them slide along properly.
So power windows, no more fapping your little plastic lever anymore. You can look like an absolute boss going through the KFC drive-thru with your power windows, so you can order your mad dirty KFC dinner bucket.
Or some mad clean tofu, depending on what you're into, but no one can ever tease you for fapping again. Now, speaking of fapping, Mighty Car Mods Season 4 DVD is out. You can get that on our website, which is mightycarmods.com. You can also get there, you can get all of the music that is on iTunes. We've got so many emails from people saying, how do I get it non-Apple style? You can get it directly from our website, just mightycarmods.com. You can also keep up on all the news and all the things on our Facebook page. That's where you need to go. We give away stuff, behind the scenes photos. It's the hub of
All happening.
and the universe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the hub of the universe, we have a special message to go out to a special lady.
That's right.
Who's the message from, Martin?
Well, the message is from a guy called Garrett Petrick. So if you're watching, make sure someone else is watching too.
Yes. So, and this message is going to a lovely lady called Sadie Lane. So if you're watching, Sadie, this is a message from Garrick to you, Sadie. Will you marry Garrick? This, you just got proposed to. This is not a joke, this is the real deal. He wrote to us, asked us to do that. I'm getting off my knee because it's hurting.
Is it the weirdest thing we've ever done?
It's awesome, but I hope she says yes, because Marty and I made a decision that if you say yes, that's wonderful and worth celebrating, but if you say no, we're not going to do any more Mighty Car Mods, which means this was our last episode ever, Mark.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on the internet not happy about it, so...
So for the sake of you and each other and everyone on the internet, we hope you say yes, but if you say no, it was nice knowing you, Martin. It was a good series. It's been 5 fun years.
Yep.
So we won't shoot anything else until we hear whether she said yes or not.
What about all those new cars we got?
There are some new cars, Martin, and they're going to go to a waste, which is a shame because people have been asking for that. There's 3 new cars sitting out there, 3 cars we've never had on the show before, mods we've never seen before, and that's actually the most expensive car you've ever owned, which is saying something. You actually spent enough to get a mad car.
Dude, they're all cheap buckets. What are you talking about?
Dude, that one up the front's not. That's a mad car. But unfortunately, no one's going to ever get to see them unless Sadie says yes.
No pressure.
So, let's hope she says yes. But it has been nice knowing you, Martin. Should we hug one out?
Yeah, man.
No, forget it.
No.
See you later, man.
Bye. Yeah,
Bye.
stupid.
Oh, dude, it's been raining so much on my way down to the tofu shop, and I'm getting a wet head. It's not ideal. See you, man.
Blooper! We forgot to screw them in.